Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump into this. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to attend this call. I know everyone has very busy schedules, and especially with summer. Um, so people are taking, but hopefully you're all able to take a summer vacation this year. And again, appreciate you taking a moment. So um, let's just go ahead and get into the agenda. So as mentioned, that $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. If you look into the chat, there will be a link for that for that giveaway. Make sure you enter it, and you do have to be present to win. Um, we will be covering national promotions. It's crazy once you see the calendar where we're at, and it's wild to think that we're already halfway through the year, and we're going to be speaking about home for the holidays before you know it. Um, and then we will be speaking today on first, second, and third party data, what that means for you as a business and what that means for your partners, and where do you fall in the world of party data. And followed by, obviously, probably the most important part of that is how do we pass the data across to our partners and trusted advertisers that we work with, um, and businesses that you have sold for revenue, making sure that they get all their leads, whether it's through our leads portal or integrations. And then we have a new initiative from our marketing team that I'm going to get into at the very end, but it's having a conversation and submitting a case study. So um, we that equals some additional dollars into your pocket, and again, like I said, I will touch on that and explain everything you need to know on submitting a case study to us as we're trying to ramp those up, and get them shared with everyone, because it's fantastic to see results and see success stories. So we're looking at those. And then of course at the end, gift card giveaway, do have to be present to win. So all right, looking at our national campaigns calendar, I like to touch on this almost every digital sales training, just so you know and are aware of where we are at in the timeline for national promotions. So currently we have Father's Day giveaway running, but we have two that are they're so close, and hopefully this has been on your radar. They go signups. I'll go over the sign up close dates here in just a second, but that's going to be the Summer Cash Contest. And the back to school, I can't believe it. Back to school promotion. Every time I get to this time of year, always amazes me. I feel like it speeds things up. So those are on our radar. So speaking of, for our 2023 Summer Cash Contest, the run dates on this are actually July 10th through July 14th. It's those 5 days. The goal of this is we're going to announce keywords to your audience for their chance to win $2,000 daily. Again, this is a national prize, so it's across the board for the participating clients who want to participate in this particular giveaway. Sign up closes are July 5th, so we're looking at a couple weeks, and plenty of time still to have just first off sign up and to work and get work with your team to get this sold and tie in an advertiser or a partner. This is a fantastic way to have a high dollar amount prize tied to maybe a lower, a small like mom and pop shop, or maybe a newer business that is just trying to break market in your area. It's fantastic. So you can actually find all the details about our national promotions on ideas.audience.io. You'll be able to see all of the information there. We give all the rules, all the graphics, everything that you want there. If you do want to change the graphics and have some localized, more specific to what your goals are, we definitely encourage that, and you're more than welcome to do that. The rules and everything will stay the same, price stay the same, but if you wanted to change it up and work with an advertiser in that sense, we are more than happy to have facilitate that and allow you to do that. And then our 2023 back to school giveaway, like I said, it's just every time it gets around this year, it's kind of crazy. Sign up closes for this on July 26th. What's great about this is it gives your audience a chance to win $1,000 for their school or charity. But on top of that, one national grand prize winner will win $1,000 to themselves, and then a school or registered charity of their choice. So there really is technically $2,000 that are be given away. That is going to be split Sign up closes for that July 26th. I definitely suggest making sure the focus is on this one first, because it's, again, right around the corner, followed by the back to school promotion as well. Again, all the details are on our Idea Studio. And if you have questions on that, please reach out to our team, and we're more than happy to facilitate a conversation in regards to this as well, and even into the personalization and making it more market targeted friendly. So yeah, and as mentioned, like, we, as you want to cater to your needs, we definitely want you to be able to put whatever you want into the promotion itself. You can put different custom form fields. We obviously want to drive as many quality leads as possible, and really it helps just drive first party data for targeted marketing. So if you can think of any advertisers that would really fall into the verticals, even for like the back to school, or for the summer cash contest, and build kind of a marketing plan around that, we definitely, you're able to customize that whole entire experience. Okay, so now moving along here, jumping into different party data types. And you might have heard, or if you've joined on previous calls in the past, we've touched on this, and this has been such a huge focus as we've rebranded in the last over almost a year and a half. It's kind of crazy to say, from Aptivada to Audience, and our focus is growing, enriching, and engaging first party data as much as possible. So there's first party data, second party data, and third party data. And I'll go into details of it, but with first party data, just fast and quick, is data collected from a user directly to a business. And majority of partners that we work with, and whether it's TV or radio, or more than that, we that falls into that, or sorry, you would fall in more into the second party data. And how that transpires is, it's data that is being collected from a business, which is then tied to, or then sold, or conjoined with another party as well. So that's more of the B2B aspect. And then there's third party data, which, as we know, for third party data, it's numerous different data types that are being fed in. And as you can see on the graph on the right hand side, first party data, on the amount of reach and the amount of data that comes in is usually smaller. However, the quality of it is much higher. Second party data, depending on the reach and depending on the format and stuff, it can be as high as first party data. And obviously, for example, if you have a brick and mortar store that you are working with, they don't necessarily have the reach. That's why combining this digital platform with TV or radio, and then combining those, you're really able to achieve a higher quality, almost, again, it is first party data, with a much greater reach. And so that second party data really is kind of a sweet spot. And as I've looked into it more and have studied it myself, it's very intriguing to see how that fluctuates between each other. So, and then as mentioned, third party data, I mean, that's, again, so many different revenue streams. You can definitely make a huge reach out, but with the deprecation of that, it's going to be going away. So that reach is going to be less, and the quality is going to be lower. So, yeah, and then we'll even go into this a little bit more. And really, the why we're having this conversation, this impacts your partners absolutely directly. Okay. So 71% of consumers feel frustrated when shopping experience isn't personal. And I feel like these next bullet points, like, if you think about how you engage with businesses, because we all have our favorites, right, on whatever our interests are. And obviously, when we get emails or text messages or whatever we're opted into from the ones that we care about, we like. It's those other ones where we get spam, and it's just, so I think we can all relate at some point to what these say. 70% millennials are frustrated with brands sending irrelevant emails, as mentioned. 91% of consumers say they're more likely to shop with brands that provide offers and recommendations that are relevant to them. And this is huge, right? So if you're able to build out a promotion with an advertiser, that the marketing plan is to really help drive, and again, it goes back to even our core values of engaging and enriching that data that's being collected, and then really targeting them. And I will touch more about that here in a second in regards to like your data that you're collecting and what data you own as you're running promotions. And then 80% of consumers are more likely to purchase from a brand that provides personalized experiences, and that's huge. I had a kind of a case study that I've experienced. It was roughly, wow, this was like four years ago, but we had a partner that was working at the time. They were doing they were doing a promotion giveaway, and in our confirmation emails, they actually put purchasable items that were from in the confirmation emails that were tied to an e-commerce website, and they were able to see that even those items were being purchased from confirmation emails. And it was kind of cool to see them utilize something that was within our platform at no cost to them. They were seeing revenue driven. They made roughly about $6,500 worth of sales on that, and that's a huge attribution for people who are currently and even new users into the contest and the account. And then 90% of consumers are willing to share personal behavioral data with companies for cheaper and easier experience. So if they feel like, hey, I'm getting something from this, users are I've seen it time and time again over the last 6 years here, especially with like surveys. I know with surveys, like questions that you're asking, they might seem super personal, but if it is specific to, for example, let's say it's a mortgage survey and you're asking questions like about their dog, that's not really relevant. So if you're asking relevant questions, that content users are typically higher or more than likely going to provide full filled out surveys and data points that you could then use and uplift to make more revenue. So first party data, I know you just quickly glanced over it, but again, data your company collects directly from your audience and owns. And this is going to be really about the data you are collecting, again, whether you're TV or radio, data that you're collecting that you can then use for your stations, for your station, and then it starts to turn into that second party data, and I'll get to that in a second. But make sure that you have multiple opt-ins on any promotion that you have advertisers. Make sure that you are growing your database, your first party data. You can then remarket and retarget that data in numerous ways. Let's say you sell a car dealership and you run multiple promotions. You can actually tag the promotions with, let's say you just tag it automotive. You can use that data, use all the entries that have been collected over time, and then send, let's just say you have a new promotion coming up from the same auto dealership. You can then maybe send out email blasts saying, hey, in the past you showed interest, we have a new promotion coming up, and that data can then be collected and cultivated into higher conversions. So it's a great way to focus on your data stream as well as your partners as well. So, brands may use first party data to obviously improve their buying experience. They want to know how they can personalize their product, because they realize that, again, if it's personalized and if of interest, people are going to buy it or convert, whatever conversion type they're looking for, whether it's roofing, whether it's home decor, or lawn and garden, or you name it. And as at the very bottom, it says breaking into new markets. If they're trying to establish a new brand, this is a great way to do it. Some of the examples where brands collect first party data, so customer feedback, obviously, surveys, different CRM data, social media accounts, obviously, websites, applications, different apps that, maybe you have an app for eligible to be downloaded, or, really any of your goals can realistically be transferred into first party data. And there is a way to do it all in one, right? So that's where we really shine, is being able to achieve, what you're wanting as a individual business, but as well as what your partners are wanting. And sometimes that's sometimes that's the same. It's might be slightly different, but it can be all in one. Like I said, I've said it a couple times already on the call, but like our motto is really helping brands capture, enrich, and activate that first party data. And that's really our drive. So going back to that all-in-one, just to kind of give an example, obviously this is super saturated with different ad fields, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. More or less just going to display as an example of what information you can have within a promotion. So kind of going back to this, whether it's like social media accounts, surveys, subscribing to email databases, and maybe app downloads. So if I kick over here, you can see obviously, we've collected their email on the first step they've entered. We've collected information, demographic information about the user, where they are existing, first name, last name, obviously, and then the social fields. We incorporate social fields with incentivized actions to offer bonus entries. And again, 90%, going back to that 90%, if they feel like they're getting something in return, they're more likely to complete it. So I like to leave like a cookie crumb trail of easy to do tasks in step 3. So like following on social media accounts. Usually I keep them between like 2 to 5 bonus entries. And then when you get into like the nitty gritty of things, where you're asking questions in a survey format, I like to boost those to 15 to 20 additional bonus entries. Like you can do as many bonus entries as you want with no repercussion there. It's totally up to you on what's important and what you need most. If you see here just above app downloads, we even have a feature that you can geolocation, my favorite feature, be able to pin a location and have users go to said location. They can open a map from their mobile device, depending on which, whether it's Android or iOS, are able to easily see where they're at and where the pin is that they need to be. And so, I like to boost that one because they obviously have to physically go. Again, this is kind of like an all-in-one thing that can definitely happen. And as mentioned, make sure you double opt-in. That's probably the one thing right here. It says, would you like to receive emails from us? You want to define who us is, whether it's, whether it's you, the business. And then the second one, if you have a partner, making sure, so that way you can rightfully pass that information across to them. As mentioned, survey tied to drive quality leads. And that's really where the first party data shines. Is yes, it might be smaller amount of people who are providing responses, but the quality is going to be massive. Luckily, our survey tool is very easy to use, very simple to build and be put together. We have an advanced analytics and reporting on that, so you can break it down by question. There's different question types that you can set up. One of my favorite features of our survey application is the conditional response question. Simply put, if you ask a question based on their response, you can then facilitate a new question, or present a new question to them. And that way you can either have them have the promotion end immediate, have the survey end immediately. If they're like, yeah, I'm not really interested, cool. And the promotion or and the survey. But if, let's just say you're asking questions about their mortgage, like, oh, are you looking to buy? And if someone says yes, well, they showed interest, let's give them an additional question. I've seen some very, very, very clever response, or very, very clever questions and conditional setup to really kind of make an experience, different from just a static A to Z or 1 through 5. The other thing on surveys I will recommend, this is more of a tips and tricks for y'all. I would recommend asking anywhere from 4 to 7 questions. And at first you might think, oh, that's a lot. You would be surprised. I have seen surveys that have asked even 14 to 15 questions have almost like a 70% filled rate. It just depends on what the content is and what you're trying to do, because they are very simple to enter, and people tend to provide their information, especially if they're getting bonus entries tied to it. Okay, second party data. So really this is where you will fall when you're not, when you're collecting first party data for yourself, but second party data really will be, between vendor to vendor, right? You've collected directly from a consumer, but then it's sold to other advertisers. In this case, you've sold an advert, a promotion that's going to be running, and all of the information that's being collected is then sent over to the partner or advertiser that obviously you had sold. I already had spoken kind of on these touch points because first and second party data kind of just flows in between each other in that way. One's more specific to you, one's specific to your advertisers. Usually they are the same though in regards to data type. So, and then like a real big question too is like, are you using the data that you own as the first party data aspect? There's data points that, that have been collected. You might have 40, 50,000 data points. And if it's just sitting there, it's not doing anything to benefit you. So I definitely suggest looking into how to activate that. And if you have questions, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to have conversations and share some tips that we've seen and some experiences from partners that have seen success. So, um, and this is definitely, first and second party data, they are very similar, and as mentioned, but they are very specific and absolutely more reliable than third party data, because third party data is just typically relying on cookies, which, as we know, going away. So with third party data, it's being collected by a third party and has no direct relationship to the consumer. Conversion rate types are usually super low. And yes, the amount might be high, but quality is not there. And so really don't want to spend too much time. I mean, it won't go fully away because with how it's set up, but the general consensus of typical third party marketing is going to be um, uh, depreciated, I should say. Okay, so the next question is to yourself is, okay, so we have all this data, we've harnessed this data from a fantastic promotion. What is the next steps to get this information to your advertisers and partners? And so we've just released, and you've already probably have heard of our leads portal and our integrations, but it's always important to circle back to this as a reminder that this is available, and that you can easily pass information securely and quickly. Two very important things that advertisers want and need. Oop, double jump there. Okay, so with our leads portal, there is no integration required. If you've ever worked with our team to try to get a new integration, you would find out very quickly that it takes time. It's not very straightforward. Minimum time to get a new integration up and running, if an advertiser has one that they're wanting to run, is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. It's there's so much that goes into it, as you can imagine. With Leads Portal, it's super simple. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's instantaneous. You're able to continuously deliver leads throughout the campaign, whether they want it on a different frequency type or all at once. As said before, very secure. It can be customized on the frequency to their personal needs. Maybe they want to come in every single day and see what leads they have, or maybe only on Mondays, so they get kind of the end of the week wrap up for that week to then reach out to. I'm thinking there maybe like car dealerships and whatnot that are trying to get hot leads and immediately jumping on those who have virtually raised their hand and saying, hey, I'm interested at that point. And then it only sends leads during appropriate times of day. Like, we're not going to send leads at like 1 a.m., right? That wouldn't be very beneficial, and it would be rather annoying. So what your partners see, just so that you are aware, your partners will actually receive an email notification that has the new leads available. They'll be able to includes a single use link to download new or all leads as mentioned. And they actually may request a new secure link pretty much on demand. So if there's any questions there, that feel free to reach out on that as well. And then some notification schedules. You can actually set up the frequency to email leads for 4 times per hour, or as little as once per year, just depending on how you have it structured or what you're wanting there. And then, emails only delivered when new leads are available. So they're not going to be continually bombarded with leads that are from previous days or older ones. So, and then as mentioned, delivering them at the appropriate times. It's not going to deliver them at night. You can pause them and have that all structured how you need to. So as mentioned, partners may download new leads or all the leads up to that point. As you can see here, you can see that there's multiple campaigns that are being ran. They can actually access the different leads there, whether they're downloading the new leads or all of them together. I'll kind of zoom in on this a little bit. So if you can see here, if I clicked on the blue, I would receive 3 new leads from that Cinco de Mayo promotion. For the Easter egg, I would get one lead from that download. Or if I wanted to download all of them that have transpired, so for this one that had secure lead demos, you could easily just click on all, receive that full list, and then continue to reach out there. So the power of integration, similar to our leads portal, secure data transfer, it's real-time sending and attribution. And that's one of our biggest things I've seen. I've even seen clients work with partners where they are able to, within that day, reach out and see conversion types. And again, a conversion's going to solely depend on what your advertiser's goals are, or what your goals are even. So yes, very simple to do. And we do have a massive list of integrations. So if you do have a client that is wanting to use any of these integrations specifically instead of the leads portal, we're more than happy to get that set up, because these are the ones that we currently have built out and are viable and ready to go. Typically very easy to set up. Some of them depend, some of them just use a username or an API key or something like that. Very easy. So don't worry about this, like, oh, this is gonna be too difficult. Usually it's a quick and easy process. So whether it's Salesforce, MailChimp, I really like Zapier. That one is fantastic. There's very many obviously that you can use. And I mean, and bottom line, all this really comes down to is what the sponsor's goals are. And you're probably sick of me here, or sick of me saying that, but it's true. Whatever your goals are and what you're wanting to achieve can realistically be done within our platform. It just comes down to really the creativity on how you build out the promotions. But even very, very simple promotions perform. It doesn't need to be this very glamorous, complex promotion to try to be different. We've even seen just simple enter to win promotions just absolutely crush it. I'm sure all of you have probably already seen, all the Taylor Swift type promotions that are out there, but those are obviously just killing it, and it can they can be very very easy, enter to win and you're good to go, and people are more than willing to give as much information as possible. So and obviously consider, tying prizes to these promotions obviously will help drive. Going back to that 90% mark, if people feel like they're getting something from you, then yeah, they're more than willing to do it. And one moment here. Oh, okay, I thought I had jumped the gun. So going back one more slide. So I apologize. I was like, hey, kind of leading to that. Sorry, it's still jumping. There we go. Let's have a conversation about your promotions, okay? So if you have any promotions, our marketing team is doing a new initiative, which is awesome. So if you have a promotion that you feel could be a great case study, marketing team wants to have a chat. And by having a call, jumping on with them, we will be giving away a $50 Amazon gift card, okay? So reach out to our team via chat and say, hey, I have a promotion that I feel would be a great case study, whether it's high entries or high maybe just overall engagement in regards to maybe the bonus entries, maybe you have a survey tied to it, whatever you think would be a great case study. Reach out, we'll get a call scheduled. We try to keep those calls very quick and to the point. We just want to know what the goals were, what was the intent, how how it was ran, what other marketing, whatever other marketing that was included into it, those type of things, and then we'll give you that gift card. So it's pretty awesome. We want to see that our case studies grow so that we can share them and share some of the successes that we are seeing, and we just want to make sure that we have permission and everything to do so as well. So okay. If you, again, we're wrapping this up here. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, chat in, give us a phone call. We're here for you.